Let me ask you something that may sting. When was the last time you did something so uncomfortable, so terrifying, that it made you feel truly alive? Not entertained, not distracted, alive. When was the last time your heart raced, your palms sweated, and you knew without doubt that what you were doing mattered? If you can't remember, that silence should scare you, because it means you are drifting. It means you are stuck inside a cage so subtle, so seductive, you don't even recognize it. That cage has no guards, no locks, no walls. It has pillows, warm blankets, glowing screens, and endless distractions. That cage is comfort. Comfort is the softest prison humanity has ever built. And you are already serving a life sentence. You wake up every day inside it. The alarm goes off, you scroll through your phone, you avoid the silence, you avoid the struggle, and you think this is living. But deep down, you know it isn't. You feel it in the pit of your stomach, that gnawing unease, that whisper that says, "Is this really all there is?" That's not depression, that's your soul trying to break free. Friedrich Nietzsche warned of this over a century ago. He foresaw the rise of the last man, a being who wants nothing more than to be safe, comfortable, and mildly entertained. The last man avoids risk, avoids struggle, avoids greatness. He calls his cowardice happiness, and Nietzsche's warning was clear. The last man would mark the death of human spirit. Look around at modern life, at yourself, and ask, is this not exactly what we have become? We chase small pleasures, flee discomfort, and call it progress. But progress without struggle is not growth, it's decay. History has proven this pattern again and again. Rome rose because its citizens were forged by necessity, discipline, and hardship. But when wealth poured in, when luxuries multiplied, when entertainment replaced duty, Rome rotted from within. Plato in the Republic described this decline with eerie accuracy. Too much freedom, too much indulgence, and people lose discipline. They abandon responsibility, chase comfort, and fall into apathy. And from apathy, tyranny is born. The downfall of civilizations doesn't begin with invasion, it begins with comfort. But this isn't just about nations, this is about you. How many times have you stayed quiet when you knew you should speak because speaking was uncomfortable? How many times have you avoided chasing a dream because it meant risk? How many hours have you traded to screens because silence felt unbearable? Every one of those choices is a link in the chain. And eventually, those chains hold you down until you cannot move, cannot think, cannot fight. You don't see them, but you feel them. That emptiness you carry, those chains are already tightening. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a man who resisted the Nazis and was executed for it, wrote about a terrifying condition he called stupidity. He argued that stupidity was not a lack of intelligence, but the condition that arises when people surrender their inner freedom. When they stop thinking, stop resisting, stop questioning. Why do people surrender? Because comfort makes surrender sweet. It feels easier not to care, easier not to fight, easier not to think. Comfort is the perfect dictator because it rules without force. It doesn't need to chain you, it just makes you forget you had wings. Machiavelli, the master of political realism, saw the same truth. He wrote that necessity sharpens strength while abundance weakens it. Struggle creates resilience, while ease creates fragility. A society raised in hardship produces leaders. A society drowned in luxury produces fools. And the same is true for you. If your life is built on ease, don't be surprised when you crumble at the first storm. Comfort does not protect you, it cripples you. Here's the cruelest twist. Comfort convinces you that you have time. It whispers, do it tomorrow, chase it later, speak it someday. But later is a lie. Later is the most dangerous word you'll ever believe. Later is how you waste your life without realizing it. One day, you'll wake up and discover there is no later left. That's how comfort kills, not with pain, but with silence, not with tragedy, but with nothing. The Stoics understood this danger, which is why they practiced voluntary hardship. Seneca slept on hard floors. Marcus Aurelius embraced fatigue and cold. Epictetus, once a slave, reminded himself daily that every luxury was a chain. They didn't do this because they hated themselves. They did it because they loved freedom. They knew the truth. Comfort is the enemy of freedom. Only by choosing discomfort could they remain unbroken when life tested them. So what about you? What storm are you avoiding? What truth are you burying? What dream are you postponing until later? These are not small questions. They are the dividing line between a life that matters and a life that dissolves into dust. Every moment you avoid discomfort, you are not choosing peace. You are choosing decay. But every moment you walk into discomfort, you are building a soul that cannot be broken. Think of the names we still whisper. Socrates, who drank poison rather than betray truth. Spartacus, who rose in chains and defied an empire. Bonhoeffer, who walked to the gallows rather than kneel to tyranny. None of them lived comfortable lives, but they lived lives that mattered. They lived lives that carved meaning into history. And now, it is your turn. What will your name mean? Will it vanish in silence, or will it echo? Because history never remembers the comfortable. It remembers the bold. It remembers those who chose fire over pillows, storms over safety, meaning over ease. Comfort will cradle you, lull you, and bury you quietly. But discomfort, the storm you fear, is the only place your soul can awaken. So I'll ask you again, directly, are you alive or are you just safe? Because safety is not life. Safety is the most comfortable prison ever built. Life is risk. Life is struggle. Life is stepping into the storm. The bars of your cage are invisible, but they are real. And the only way out is through discomfort. Break the bars, step into the storm, because only there will you finally remember what it feels like to live.